All right, yell at him. I'm going to let people up when we get to 2K likes. Peace, y'all. We back. We back. Let the church say Ashe. Ashe-o. Members of the congregation, what's going on? Ashley, buenos dias. What's good, Sister Marlo? What's going on? Peace, Sister Stella. Yes, sir. The Queen's in here. We're going to let people up when we get to 2K likes. Appreciate the gifts. Here to raise your consciousness to the Garveyite consciousness. Appreciate you, Ashley. Respect, Kurt. All Garveyites are welcome. All the Garveyites, them. I got somebody that wants to come up here. Just so y'all know, we ask 3 questions when you come on stage. Age, race, and pronouns. That's how you introduce yourself. Peace to the peaceful. I heard that. Very peaceful in here. We're gonna ask your age, race, your pronouns. And then you can get to the question. If you do not know your race, do not come on the live, please. If you do not know your race, don't come up here. Stay in the comments and learn you some. As my ancestors would say, learn you some. Okay? Everybody that knows their race can come up on the panel. Everyone that knows something about race and how it operates, feel free to send the request on up. If you think your race is biracial or monoracial, then you can just stay on down in the comments. We here to raise consciousness. Brothers and sisters, brothers and others, share the live with someone else. Share the live with someone you know that uses coconut oil on their skin, hair, and food. Share the live with people that like sweet potato pie. Share the live with people that have never had a scone in their life. Never even wanted to try a scone. You know what I'm saying? Share the live with people that don't like pumpkin spice. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all know what I'm saying. If your nose is thicker than a Snicker, share the live. If you have a big forehead and wear bonnets, then please share the live. You know what I'm saying? If you can put things in your hair, like a pick or a pencil, and it just stays there, please share the live. If you love yourself, my brother, my sister, share the live. Asheo. I love you that love yourselves. I love you, black man, that love himself. I love a black woman that love herself. And I'm not afraid to say it. If you ain't afraid to share the live with someone that has that self-love, all right. That's what we here for. Big up to my family. Worldwide. I don't care where you from. You a brother, you a sister, you in Canada, you in Croatia, you in the Congo, you in South Africa. You know if you my brother or sister. If you know, then you know. You know what I'm saying? Big up to my African family around the world. All right, we're going to go to the next guest. We're going to bring somebody up. What's going on, Chloe? Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I'm 18, she, her, and I'm a black biracial woman.
All right, talk to us.
I'm just a little confused on why you're like questioning like interracial marriages. Like, why is that like a topic here?
I don't answer questions. I ask for you people to share their opinion.
I mean, it is a question though in the title.
Right, so answer the question.
I think it's ethical. I think people can marry who they want to marry, and there shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, so you think individuals should be able to marry whoever they want to marry?
Exactly. They have the right to marry, and if there happens to be another race, it's nothing wrong with that.
Does it happen to be another race?
In this particular example, yes.
So if it just happens to be another race, in this particular example, we're not talking about what just happens to be another race. We're talking about the interracial marriage between two groups of races, two groups of people. So we're not just talking about someone that just happens to fall in love with another race and just happens to just happen? Like, do you believe that love just happens?
It does, yeah. True love exists.
And who taught you that?
Well, love happened to me. It just happened.
How did it happen to you? How did you know you were in love?
They made me feel happy and accepted, and yeah.
Who told you that feeling happy and accepted is love?
I just thought it's common sense. That's what love is. What do you think
So,
love
so,
is?
so you think everyone views love the same way you do?
No, but that you asked me what I think it was, and that's why I said. But maybe some people believe love is, I don't know, but I don't know why it's deemed unethical that an interracial marriage. I don't know why you deem that.
So, do you think that your definition of love is something that is unique to you and only was something that you couldn't control? That love being happiness and acceptance is purely your idea? That no one else would have written that at some point or came up with that idea themselves?
No, I think some people do agree that that's what they feel when they're in love. If that's what you're asking.
I'm not asking about if they agree. I just want to know where this definition of love that you got came from.
Well, if you're in love with someone, you're gonna feel happy, and you're gonna like feel accepted with them. That's what being in love is, and
Who
liking
taught you
them.
that? Where did you learn that?
Myself and my experiences. What do you think love is?
You didn't learn that from yourself, but I'm just trying to figure out why you think you did. Because love has been written about for hundreds of years
Hmm.
in similar words. So, do you not know where your idea of love came from?
Maybe in like movies and books, but specifically love. I've been in love, so I know what it is.
Okay, so that's I understand that you feel like you've been in love, but I'm trying to clearly define the parameters of what love is because if you say love is acceptance and feeling happy, what if I told you I felt accepted and feeling happy when I shoved waffles down my wife's mouth non consensually?
Because that means that you love shoving waffles down her mouth. Like what?
Non consensually? You would say that's love?
You like to do that?
Would you say that's love?
I would say that if you do that, that means you love to do it. If you feel happy doing it, I mean, yeah, you love to do that. Yeah.
So you believe a non-consensual act can be part of love if it makes me happy and
Not
accepted.
between two people, but you can love what you're doing. Like you can love an action that you're doing. Yeah. Like you can love doing something.
So if I love, I don't know, if I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre activities, right, and I love taking people's faces off and putting it on my own, would you say that's love too?
It's a crazy and weird example, but that crazy person who loves to do that, yeah, they love to do that. So that is love to them. Even though that's crazy and that's like a stretch. But I don't get what this has to do with the background though.
The background about marriage. Do you think marriage and love are not intertwined? Do you think they're two different things?
At first, yeah, you're in love, but some people do fall out of love in marriages. But at
So
first, to get
then, so
married, you
then,
have
so
to be in
then, so
love.
then, if that's the case, then you see marriage as more of a financial arrangement or a
No,
contractual obligation.
no, but if you're gonna get married, that means you love each other, right? You're not gonna just get married to get married.
I don't know what your definition of marriage is. We didn't get there, but you came up and said that love is love. So I've been trying to get a parameter on what you see as love, and if there's any boundaries to what could be considered love.
No,
Apparently, you believe unaliving people can be something that someone loves
yeah.
and part of a loving relationship. I
You
think
can love
that's
any action you do. You can be crazy and love it too. Like, love is not like defined to only one person. You can be mentally insane and love what you do.
but would that be ethical?
But that doesn't mean interracial marriages are unethical, because that makes no
Let's
sense.
what I'm trying to define is the parameters of love. We can go back to the topic and you can keep trying to dance around my questions, or we can just have a conversation and talk about these questions. I'm not going to make you feel like you're
I
being judged
understand,
for
but
your
I came
viewpoints
up
or
here to
anything.
talk about
You
the
came up here to
background.
debate a little bit though, because I'm not even here. This is not a debate. No one is right or wrong. We're just talking about things. And I keep asking you questions, and whenever you don't want to answer, you go back to the
Because that's
exact
what I really want
question.
to talk about.
I know, but the thing is, we are talking about it. We're just talking about where the direction you took it in, which was love. You said that something can be ethical, interracial marriage is ethical because of love. And now I'm trying to clearly define the parameters of what you deem as love and what you don't deem as love. I have
Okay.
not found something that you don't see as love. You said love can be sawing people's heads off. So I'm trying to figure out, what do you see as not love? Like, you're telling me like you would be in a relationship with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre as
No,
long
I
as
never
he
said
felt
that.
like he was loved and accepted, and as long as you felt accepted by him, that would make it ethical?
No,
Like,
you're putting words in my mouth,
all
because I
right,
don't think you
well, all
understand what
right,
I
so
meant.
then, all right, so then that's great. So now tell me why that wouldn't be love.
I'm talking about not between two people, the Texas Chainsaw Man. I'm saying he could love taking people's faces off.
I know, but the reason you say that, the reason you made it about that individual's feelings when we're talking about a relationship is because, again, you're trying to like scapegoat into a different kind of conversation. I never said will he love doing it. I said if I was in a relationship with somebody and I was doing Texas Chainsaw Massacre type deals to people, and I said it was a love relationship. I'm talking about love here. I'm not talking about what I love to do. I'm talking about the impact that I have on an individual. You're making it about what I feel. Like, I'm making it about the
Okay, maybe
relationship.
I misunderstood you in that point. So if I was in a relationship with someone who wanted to kill me,
Love.
no.
Let's say something else in Texas, please, because I don't want to, the live to
Oh,
get
my
too
bad.
gory. So I
Yeah.
originally said, if I love shoving waffles down a woman's mouth non-consensually, would you consider that love? If she non-consensually did not want this to happen, but I said it makes me feel happy and accepted, is that love?
No, not on the woman's part.
Okay. All right. So now we have a parameter that love requires consent from two people, right?
Hmm.
Okay. Whew. We did mental gymnastics to get here. All right. We're
I mean,
back.
because love is
All right. No, all
subjective.
right. All right. Calm down. Hold on. Hold on. It took a while. I'm sorry. It veered so far off. I just needed to like reset. Hold on.
My
All
bad.
right. Whew. All right. So now that we're back in control, we're back in Zen. The next question I have for you is, we are not talking about individuals. And this question is not about individuals. Hi, I'm the host. I make the question. I mean the question the way I mean it. So when I talk about the question, I'm talking about it from a broader perspective than two individuals,
All right.
because individualistic fallacy is something that people use to justify racism when we're not talking about love and when we're talking about other things. So when we're talking about race and the clash between black and white people, we're not talking about on an individual basis. If I am locked in a room with a white woman, the racism won't matter because we're by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
By ourselves, one on one, racism ain't there.
Got it.
However, we are talking about interracial marriages as a concept. Interracial marriages didn't exist until racism exists. There had to be racism in order for it to be interracial. right? Because race is a caste system built to exploit black people, created by white people to dominate and have power to over non-white people.
Can I
So
just say one thing before I forget? Yeah, maybe the word interracial was made like after racism, but that doesn't mean that people weren't together that are different races before.
no. That does mean that.
But how do you know
So
that?
no, that does mean that. Hold on. I know you're 18. I don't want you to mislead anyone in this live. That does mean that. Because before that, they were just people. And yes, people did get together of different skin tones before
Yeah.
that. But it didn't happen much. It didn't happen as much as today. But it also was not racial. So there was no race. So it was not interracial. So when I use the word interracial here, it is intentionally being used. And interracial marriage specifically is another thing that was created, just like race was created. So then we're talking about, after the idea of race was invented, are interracial marriages as a whole, please do not bring up two individuals that fell in love. We're not talking about them. We're talking about people groups between black and white people. Does the dynamic that exists between people groups after post-oppression and racial oppression was created, does the idea that a privileged class and an oppressed class can marry each other ethical? Does it cause harm to a group? Ethical is defined by Google. You can look it up. Is when something avoids harm to people or an environment. So understanding that interracial is something that is already causing harm. The idea of race already causes harm to black people. Understanding that, when we say are interracial marriages between black and white people ethical, we are talking about a broader concept. And I want to say that not to just the person that's talking up here right now. I'm saying that to everyone that's going to come on this live and say, no, I love my person. Like, no, we're not talking about you two. It's not about you. And a lot of y'all feel personally attacked, and I understand why, but it's not about you. And we're not here to tell anyone who to love and all that other stuff. All right. So now, understanding what I said, you have anything to respond to?
Yeah. Just because like they're different from different like backgrounds is what you said, and they're getting together. I don't think that's
Race is not a background.
Yeah, but they do have different backgrounds though.
Race is not a background. I have a different background than someone that's next door to me that's white.
Exactly.
How? We grew up in the same neighborhood. What's the difference in our background?
You have different like lives is what I mean.
Everyone on earth has a different life. See how you're going to individuals again?
Yeah, but you can't talk about.
But we're talking about people groups.
Yeah,
we're not talking about individuals.
Group.
And if you make everything subjective, you can justify anything. If you take everything down to the individual, you can justify anything. That's how narcissists think.
Are you calling me a narcissist?
I don't answer questions, I ask them.
All right. Anyways, you said something about like different like economic statuses, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. I heard that.
No, I didn't say anything about economics.
You did say something about like different, like about the groups, they have like different something. Now I forgot, but you said that they have different somethings. Yeah, you said that when explaining, like.
I didn't say economics.
What'd you say? Because I forgot.
Chloe, let's keep it 1,000. Let's keep it 1,000.
You
Are you here to make white people feel comfortable?
I'm here to answer and talk about the background. I'm keeping it real.
I don't think so.
Because I don't understand why it matters so much to you that you made a whole live about it.
Then maybe you should stay down there and figure it out. I'm going to go to the next guest. King Leaky, give us your age, race, and pronouns. King Leaky, give us your age, race, and pronouns. I'm trying to figure out who's calling me.
Oh, my bad, brother. My mic was muted. I'm a young black man. I'm 24. My pronoun is he. I don't really use those, but yeah, I guess it's he.
All right, talk to us.
This is a interesting topic for me. Especially okay, my standpoint on this is that it is not ethical. Okay. The reason being is just as you indicated, this really did not start until people like us were in bondage, and it was by something. It's almost like a device used in what the bigger race is, and the bigger race, I suppose, is the race to gain land, wealth, power. And that's what we see in being displayed today. But unfortunately, our people were never included in that race. We were more so a commodity of it. Something that the winners of it participated in, and that is the other racial group that you are referring to in an interracial marriage. And so throughout history, we have this going right. We have this going on where they are they use it as a tactic as to keep us further away from the black woman and further away from ourselves. And even more than that, it's because this is something that has been pushed on like a wide scale. Like it's almost it's becoming, even though I know we're talking about black and white, but it's becoming even more than that. It's becoming white mixing with Hispanics now, and I'm beginning to see here in Chicago. I kind of see it firsthand on a wide scale. On This is more than just like individual, like on a grand scale. I am beginning to see um, almost like a race be depleted. Their culture is being depleted. Hispanics isn't a race. I'm sorry, but their race is being depleted. And I know it's not a race, but they consider themselves okay. So when you refer to race as being the race for land, wealth, and power, okay, what the Hispanics are doing are displaying the same thing that the white majority has did, where they had different nations of quote unquote white people, but they assimilated into one group, which is now white, which is what they now mostly are all identify as. At one point they stood by their nationality, like the country, etc. But now they are white. And so what we are seeing with the Hispanics, they are essentially doing the same thing. They still identify by their independent cultures, meaning Mexican or Puerto Rican, Venezuelan. They still identify and completely uphold their culture, 100%. But they are now grouping together as one, with one group goal and one group identity. And so with interracial marriage, what this does for the black and white situation, it takes us out of that race. It takes the black man and the black woman from each other. So we are no longer just one group of people. They always pushed integration with us. They always pushed us to go into their society and to become essentially a part of that nature. And what that did was that took away our community, our sense of community. That essentially took away our sense of identity. And now we are unfortunately seeing the backlash of that now. And so yeah, I personally feel like it's not ethical.
So you think it's not ethical because um, Hispanic people have assimilated into whiteness?
No, 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 no. I feel like it's not ethical personally. Not It has nothing to do with what the Hispanics have going on, but I don't feel like it's ethical because when you look back at the history that we have, with that group of people, with the things done, although it's years later and they do it in a more overt way. We face systematic racism, different things like that. They control our communities, or various different race groups control our community essentially. Um, but I feel like we are seeing a backlash of that, and it's almost the same with us. You seeing more biracial people speak up for things like that. Speak up for identity, essentially that I feel like they are. attempting to find, because at one point interracial marriage was something frowned upon. You know what I'm saying? And so a black and white person having a kid, it that child faced backlash in kind of both directions. Not really understanding, not really understanding which group to fit into. You feel me? And yeah,
Okay, so why do you think they don't know which group to fit into?
it's the conflicting history, I suppose. And it's the and because when you look at it, well, like when you look at it, that's kind of the conflicting history is kind of what was being displayed. You feel me? And I just personally feel like it's almost like an identity crisis. You feel me?
Mm. Okay. What is the
Um,
reason for that identity crisis? Why are they conflicted?
See, and so that's the one. That's I feel like that is the I guess like the part of the puzzle that I'm still trying to understand. Because like when you have a and because I've dated a half black half white girl, um, and she was just
Half black, half white, can you?
huh.
How can you be half white?
I guess that's a good question, brother. I'm shit. I honestly I couldn't answer
What do
that.
you call it if one
Hold
parent is
on.
white and one's black?
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Please don't crosstalk. We're gonna get everybody a chance to speak. I just go one at a time on my live. It's an interview. That's it's really just an interview. I want to hear what y'all think.
Mm.
But go ahead, brother.
Yeah. I honestly, yeah, I don't really know. I can't, like I said, I can't really answer that for you. I'm not sure what I would consider half white or half black. Essentially, you feel me?
No
And
such thing. I would say there's no such thing as half white. I mean, whiteness implies purity, right? So whiteness is the most exclusive racial group. They're the only racial group that as soon as you mix with them, you ain't white.
yeah,
You're whatever makes you not white.
yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true. They do frown upon it. So, and I mean, like, and I guess this is why I kind of feel like it's an identity crisis, because I mean, like, I'm not going to necessarily say I can't say that I've truly experienced many of fellow black people saying or feeling some type of way about black and white people, or I mean not black and white people, but a mixed child essentially. Um, but also at the same time, I feel as though that we are being influenced in a way that is for our own demise, I suppose. So when I see these things, um, I just question a lot of stuff, brother. I question a lot of stuff because the system and everything in place has never been for us. There has everything that's been for us was in some way either the movement was either decapitated or infiltrated or both. You feel me? So I look at everything, and we have so many famous black famous people who millionaires, billionaires, etc. Right? Who always end up with a white girl, and or even look at Serena Williams. She got a white husband now, and it's not me personally, and I wholesomely do support that. You can love someone, but love is also an obligation. It is more than just a feeling. You can't,
Why do you think love is more than just a feeling?
because if it was just a feeling, then if you could end up loving something that's bad for you, you know, if this person is not caring for you in a way and not trying to see you grow, but you love them so you stay, like, what do you benefit from that? And so when I say it's an obligation, I feel like love is an obligation to grow. We should be growing each other. We should be helping each other grow, and also accepting that growth can results in the fact that we can grow into different paths. But the point is that we help each other grow. You know, we build a mutual bond that we both agree upon, and we act on that terms. We build trust. You know,
Oh, you got muted.
when it's just a feeling.
All right, King Leaky, I'm
Yeah,
gonna go to the next guest. Appreciate you for coming up.
for sure, for sure. All
Uh,
right.
I couldn't keep up. Sweet Tea, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I'm 30. I'm black. She, her.
All right, talk to us.
Um, um, when you ask ethical, is that just you just basically do I think it's right or wrong, basically, right?
Ethical. When can you pull up the definition of ethical on Google right here? Hold on, I'm about to read the definition of ethical because
Yeah, I want to answer it
I
first.
already read it on a previous live, and we've been having this discussion back and forth, but I just can't. Here it is. That's it. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Ethical. Hold on. All right. So here we go. Ethical, relating to moral principles or the branch of knowledge dealing with these. And then it says avoiding activities or organizations that do harm to people or the environment. So when something is ethical, it avoids activities or organizations that do harm to people or the environment.
Okay. Then I think interracial marriages are unethical.
Okay. Would you like to qualify why you feel that way or justify it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if justify is the right answer, but yeah, qualify.
I get what you're
Yeah.
saying. So I think it's unethical because one thing I'm seeing a lot of on here, just as an example, is um mixed people. I know you just said you don't what's biracial and all of that, but in my eyes, I feel like that's slave mentality is the one drop rule and all of that. I think if you got a white side, you got family that you gonna get to know, and you got a black side, but one thing a lot of people are saying is that the mother that raised them, the white mother that raised them, um, basically did things to wash out their blackness. They, like, taught them hate towards their black counterparts and things like that. So that's one major reason. Just the person who's raising you, can be racist themselves. I guess it wouldn't be racist if you're,
I
that
mean,
was a
don't bring
man. But
everybody up here because then wait, hold on. I'm sorry, my moderator's bringing everybody and their grandmother. Hold on, because Stella, when we bring everybody up here, then they gonna crosstalk and somebody gonna come off. Don't come off mute, none of y'all. I'm gonna drop y'all. Please don't do that. Let the sister speak. Go ahead, sweetie.
Okay. So yeah, because it's just so easy to instill hate in someone that you're mixing your bloodline with,
Oh, my
against your
bad,
own
Stella.
people, against your own people. Um, I mean, it's just the thought of, I've seen people be with black men, and you walk somewhere and they're staring you down, mugging you as if you're about to come try to swoop up their man. Just it's just the hate that they can have towards us, and once you start mixing it down, not only that, we're already a minority, and so I just feel like you're washing out our blood. The reason I say that is another reason. A good example is Patrick Mahomes. His dad's black, his mom's white. He just he got married to a white woman. His kids don't show any uh, blackness. They look completely white. And that does matter when it comes down to walking around here and saying that you are black. When just because you got a third of it in you, or a fourth in this case, you're washing it down, and we don't need that at all. And I feel like um it's basically an ideology that's been passed down to us to now be conceived as our preference. But people don't realize that they are being brainwashed to mix our race up and wash us out. So when you keep doing this, you're just washing us out more and more. And all they have to do is continue down to, more and more white people, and then our race is washed out even more. It's even less of us.
All right. So you said that the one drop rule was a slave what? A slave mindset or something?
That was a slave ideology.
Slave ideology. And what slave invented it?
I'm sorry, a slave owner ideology. That
Slave
was something
owner
that.
ideology. Okay, so
Uh-huh.
you're saying that slave owners invented it. When you say slave owners, do you mean white people?
Yes.
Okay. Did white people stop using the one drop rule?
I'm not 100% sure if they stopped, but I feel like now in this day and age, we're no longer, I mean, we all know we're no longer their slaves. We're no longer letting them determine our history and what's factual to us. So, that ideology doesn't, we're
So
woke enough, go ahead.
okay, so we've got garnered enough power. Do you believe black oppression is still going on?
100%.
Okay,
Because
so how? So you're saying in our oppression, in the midst of our oppression, even though the institution of slavery is over, um, you still believe racism exists, right?
for sure.
And so you're saying that although we're at a disadvantage as long as racism continues to exist, we
Mhm.
have garnered enough power to recreate racism so that now the one drop rule no longer exists.
I won't say power. I will say knowledge. We've garnered enough power. I mean, I'm sorry, you got me saying power now. Enough knowledge to know that that's not true. If I have a white mother and let's say, she's perfect. She doesn't, she's not racist. She's not teaching me hate towards black people. I have no reason to grow up and not want to get to know my white side, not to love them just as much as my black side. The black side is not more important than that white side of me. So why is that being
What is
erased?
the white side? What
The
do you mean by the white side? Did the white side look at these biracial black children as white?
It depends. That's a individual mindset. Racism isn't everybody's not racist. Majority of the people have chosen to be, but I feel like, that's depending on the person. However, even if they are racist, that there's some mixed people whose white grandparents, white great grandparents love them. So and treat them right and everything. They have no reason to, disown their white side.
If but you said a majority of them don't. So you're telling me that white people in mass, because we're talking about groups. You're making about individuals. I'm not making about individuals. I'm talking about the entire people group. You're telling me that if I were to walk up to white people with J. Cole and I said he had a white mother, he's white like you, most white people would say, okay.
No, I'm not saying that they're going to accept him or not. I'm saying he has a parent that's white that he loves. He got a grandparent that he
Right.
loves.
Okay. So now we're making sense because this is in line with some of the teaching. They
Mhm.
have a white parent. They don't
Mhm.
have a white side because the white parent they can love absolutely, but the white side won't love them back. And just because they have a white parent does not mean white people love them back and will
Okay,
accept them.
but race is not off of who loves you either. You know what I'm saying? That's what
Well,
I'm
what I'm
saying.
saying is honestly,
Mhm.
you want to know what I really think?
Yeah, I do.
Black people don't have the ability to control what racism is or isn't. Honestly, it's
Okay.
not something that we built. It's not
Mhm.
something we control. Whether no matter how much we know or think we know about it, whatever the people that control that idea think is white is white. And those people haven't shown us that they're going to renege on the one drop rule yet. So far, they have shown us explicitly. There's Harvard studies about this. One that came out, I think, in 2016. You
Mhm.
can look it up in the Harvard Journal, JSTOR, about hypodescent. That's the technical name for the one drop rule. It's called hypodescent. And according to their studies, Americans specifically fall directly in line with hypodescent. It is prominent in the white community. They do not accept biracial black people as white. They don't even say you're half white. They accept you as black. And I also think it's problematic when us black people take on the view of our master. Like you said, I think it's a slave mindset to say that one day black people will be washed out. I think that's a slave mindset. And let me tell you why.
Mhm.
Malcolm X brings up in a speech. He says that back in the day there was two type of Negroes, right? The need to grows is what I'm gonna say. There were two type of need to grows. There was the house need to grow and the field need to grow. The house need to grow took on whatever was going on with his master. He would look at his master's house and say, "Master," he'll look at the master's house on fire and say, "Master, our house is on fire." When the master was sick, he would look at master and say, "Master, what's wrong? We sick?" Because anything that was going on with his master, he thought was going on with him. That is a slave mindset. White tea people are afraid of the browning of America. White tea people have inherent bias and fear that one day their phenotype, which hasn't existed for very long, the white tea phenotype has only existed for 6,000 years. We cannot prove any further. So that being the case, we know that human history, for most of human history, 2/3 of human history, everyone lived in Africa. In most of human history, people was black. There's always been black people. But we know that white tea people who haven't always been around are afraid that mixing with black people will cause them to get browner and browner and browner, which is why they've segregated themselves and kept themselves away from us. It's why we had the Birth of a Nation story, where Nat Turner was seen as someone that's going to R-word all the white tea women, and they need to unalive him and save the white tea race. So when black people start to talk like the white tea folks, thinking that they're going to come and they're going to breed us out of existence, I look at that as somebody saying, "Master, our problems is your problems. We sick, Master. Our house is on fire." And I don't think black people who have the youngest population on earth, the average African is 20 years old, because we're going through a baby boom right now. Even in America, our birth rate is still on the rise while white tea people's birth rate has been declining. I don't think we need to worry about a day where we are bred out of existence. I think that's something that white tea people take into consideration, and we internalize with whatever they got going on.
I think so. I know that that was once the fear for them. I
Today it
feel like
is,
okay, but
still is.
what I think is that my ideology is a little bit different, because I'm not worried about them. I'm worried about us, and I see more and more of our black people. I don't want to say majority, because I feel like that we're shown what we're shown, and we can take on the belief that, oh, most black people are dating white women, but it's not actually a fact. But I know that I'm seeing more and more of it. And I think that everything becomes a trend for a reason, and we're not always aware of why that's a trend. But if that was still the biggest fear, they'd find some way for it not to be okay. But it's becoming more and more prominent. And I think the
Why do
reason is
you think
because
that
they
is?
realize,
Yeah,
because if everybody decides, oh, I only like white women or this woman and that, then the more and more the people only want a woman of a certain shade, you won't have chocolate people eventually. Yes, we are on the rise and everything, but after you do it so much, they've seen it for hundreds
but
and hundreds of years, that if you go and you keep mixing up, you don't have us anymore. Whether everybody is walking around biracial, whether everybody's walking around looking just like a white person, who, even though they have a black dad or a half black dad, sorry, you don't believe in half black, but you get what I'm saying. I feel like
if everybody were to get along the way that you're talking about, and have interracial relationships, that'd be white supremacy's worst nightmare. But the reason why you see it being promoted so much is because they know that everybody's not going to do that, because they've made sure to be able to control that. And the reason why you see it being promoted, I would argue, is not because of phenotype or a phenotype that they want. It's because of power. It's not because of phenotype. It's because of power. They take the people with the most power in our communities, the people that we've empowered with our monies buying Jordans.
Mhm.
They take the people whose music we support, and they do this so that this powerful person don't bring his power back to our community.
I agree.
He takes power from our community, but he's shown that he's going to align himself back into their community. And like you said, their child will probably end up with someone like their mother. They know that because they've incentivized a society where if you want to continue to have privilege, if you want to continue to be comfortable in society, then whiteness is the way to go. So they've already created the environment hostile to blackness for this child to see their mother's side as the side that is more comfortable. So that's where they'll end up. So again, this is all intentional, but it's not because they want our phenotype. It's because they want our power. And this is
But
according to, if y'all want to know more, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, uh, the ISIS papers, Code to the Colors. If y'all want to look that book up, you can learn more about what I'm talking about and the reason a lot of black people experience racism. And we need to remember that just because you experience something doesn't mean you understand it. I can experience the common cold. That don't mean I understand why I'm sick. And I think a lot of us need to understand why racism exists in the first place, psychologically. What is going on? Another book by a white tea man with the foreword by Dr. John Henry Clark, the teacher of Malcolm X, um, is Iceman Inheritance. If you want to understand more into the psychology behind the white tea man and what goes on in their minds, then understand that yeah, these books are important. I'm gonna go to the next guest. Thank you, sweet tea.
thank you.
All right, t-shirts. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please. T-shirts. T-shirts. Are you here? T-shirts that give back. We can't hear you.
Hi, how are you this evening?
I am well. Give us your age, race, and pronouns.
I am a 62-year-old man with my 62-year-old wife. My pronouns are he, him. Um,
Race.
it's an interesting conversation.
Your race, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a black man,
All right.
born in 1961.
Okay.
I have an interesting situation. So, my wife and I have known each other since we were 8 years old. I was in fourth grade, and she was in third grade. My wife is white, and she's Cuban. My wife was my girlfriend in high school, my senior year of high school, and her junior year of high school. We both went to college, sort of found each other. Um, Got married. We've been married for close to 33 years. And our daughter is 30 years old, and our son is 26 years old. And one of the things I'm looking at your page, and I'm seeing that interracial marriages are unethical. Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm asking a question. I ask questions. I don't
Well,
answer.
oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know whether that was a statement on your part or whether that was. I see the question mark now. I apologize.
My life is just to get people to think critically and ask why.
Okay, that's wonderful. So there are a couple of things there are a couple of things I'm hearing. I'm hearing that some people think that interracial marriage is a trend. I don't think I agree with that. I think that I'm hearing some conflict between folks saying that we are growing as a race, that black people are making babies more than white folks, and I agree with that. But then I hear on the other side folks saying we're losing black people and we're losing our identity. So I'm not sure if you understand. I'm hearing two different things.
Yeah, I think you misunderstood some of that, but it's all right.
Okay, all right. And if I did, I would welcome you making that clear. I love my wife. She has been supportive. I come from the
You racist?
I'm sorry.
Is she a racist?
My wife a racist? No. My
How do you
wife.
know?
How do I know? Because when her racist parents told her that she should drop me and leave me and disown me, my wife stayed with me for love. My wife.
So I mean,
Okay,
do
go
you
ahead.
do you know that there in the during the institution of slavery in the antebellum South, there were white tea men that actually did secretly marry some of their enslaved people. Would you say that because they did that, they're automatically not racist?
What I would say
I'm not a
is,
slave owner.
yeah, I mean, she's not a slave
I'm not a
owner.
slave
I mean,
owner.
In my eyes, you are, but I definitely don't want to have a back and forth with two people. I just want to talk with one person.
well, I mean, your definition of slave.
Many ways you are, yo.
Well, that's your opinion, but your definition of slave owner is actually wide and broad. If you're saying that someone who was born in the '60s, who's from Cuban parents from Cuba, they're somehow a slave owner, well, I disagree with that.
You said she white. What's Cuban got to do with anything?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Said she white, right? She Afro-Cuban.
She's a white Cuban.
All right, so
But,
so
but again, you're making assumptions based on not knowing anything about us, right? You're
I'm
making.
still waiting. I'm still waiting to hear about how she's not racist. Because we have to be able to make distinction between white people and the racist. Do you believe no white people are racist?
Oh no, that's ridiculous. Why wouldn't I think? Of course
Okay.
there are
Would you believe that most
we
people are
address
racist?
we address racism through our TikToks all the time. We have people who are just obnoxious, and we respond to them together in kind with sometimes satire, sometimes humor, and sometimes just straight to their face telling them they're racist. And we explain to them why we think they're racist. But none of those attributes do I
But what
find.
makes someone no longer racist? Or do you believe she was never a racist?
As far as I know, yeah, my wife has never been a racist, never showed any racist tendencies, never said anything verbal to me that would make me. And I would be very.
Was your wife raised in the jungle like Tarzan?
My
Because
wife.
that's the only way that someone could not be racist in this society. You're telling me that when they put dolls in front of children and they show a black doll and a white doll,
I already
that
saw that.
white children,
We posted. We posted
white,
that on our
hold on,
page.
don't cut me off, man. White children at the age of 5 know that the black doll is inherently ugly. They know they know at the age of 5 that the black doll is more likely to commit a crime. They understand all of these things and they don't want the black doll. They think it's unattractive. And then even the black children know that the white doll is more attractive. The white doll looks more innocent. They understand race at 5 years old. You're telling me somehow your wife avoided this?
I'm telling you that my wonderful wife actually made sure that our children had dolls that were.
I'm not talking about your children. I'm talking about
Well,
your wife. You said,
first
I'm
of all, I
asking
saw
if
that
your
study.
wife is a racist.
That study was done back in the '70s, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's actually something that is done every 10 years. They have updated studies. It's still going on.
Well, then I have it. Do you have video of that? Because I've only seen the.
Yeah, there's video of it online. Yes,
So what is your
absolutely.
definition of racist? Of a racist?
Racism
No,
is
no, no, no. What is your definition of a racist?
anyone that perpetuates racism.
And what does that mean? Perpetuating. Be
To
defined.
to act and harm non-white people on behalf of the global system created by white people to control and dominate all non-white people.
That is so vague and so wide-ranging. Be more specific.
I just said exactly what it.
No, I'm
I
not going to
mean,
use that.
racism is a broad term itself. So, I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like
What I mean is,
bopping people on the head?
if you're so inclined to say that a a white person is specifically racist, don't be general in your terms. Be specific.
Racism is a general term. Like that, I just clearly defined it. How is that being broad? I just said a system created by white people to to control and dominate all non-white people. Anyone that is a purveyor of that idea and harms non-white people on behalf of that system is a racist.
What's a specific action for my
A
wife?
specific action?
What would be the specific action that my wife would take to be racist to me? Specific. Give me some examples. Without even knowing her, be specific.
I mean, now you're asking me to guess what she does to you. You know what I'm saying?
Now you've made my point.
Well, you have to guess. What would I have to do to be racist to him? What would I have to do?
Be specific.
Not acknowledge.
That's the problem. Y'all think racism is like a white guy with a gun calling people the N-word. It's not just how you act towards somebody. It's a systemic problem. And white people, you identifying yourself as white is like the basic example of you participating in racism in this country. And so when you continue to avoid the fact that racism exists, that there's an issue between white people and black people and the oppression, when you avoid all of that, you are participating in the racist system. And so in order for white people and black people to get married, you literally have to be on a fantasy cloud in order to ignore everything that has done. Black people are literally products of war. We are products of biracial people are products of war. And so when you go through life and act like that didn't happen, you are participating in the
How do you know I go through life acting like it didn't happen?
Because I know how we know. I know how we know.
How do you know?
Are you a racist?
No, I'm not a racist.
All right, that's how we know. That's exactly how we know.
Someone who understands this knows that they are part of the racist problem.
I know that there is a systemic racism. There's systemic racism in corporate America. There's systemic racism everywhere.
Unless you John Brown and some shit, you part of the problem, sis. You part of the problem.
Unless you're John Brown, you're part of the problem. See, what I have a problem with is your definitions and your terms.
Hold on. We gotta give my black wife some love, man. She just unpacked that for y'all. Gotta give the sister some props, man. Drop some red, black, and green hearts in there for my wife out here clearing people up on my live, man. Anybody ask her to do that? Hey, man, come on, man. Absolutely. All right. Let's give the swirlers some time to rebut. Marry a black woman, brothers. You know what I'm saying? Come on, you can't get this from no one else, man. You can't get that from no one but the black woman, man. Big up to all the queens in here, man. Brothers, get you one of these, man. Come on, man. It's all love. All right. T-shirts, we can't hear you. You gotta unmute.
Okay. So you hate all white people then?
Oh, brother.
So you don't understand.
She don't understand. She ain't listen to a word.
Well, what you're saying is you're saying that the system itself.
This was flipped. If we was the white people, if this happened to y'all, if this happened to white people, y'all would have been going ham. Ain't no marrying black people and they did this to my people. I'm sorry.
I know, baby. I know. Listen, y'all got her preaching. This would not be a conversation.
Oh my God.
It wouldn't.
It would not be all this confusion.
It sure wouldn't.
But there's a disagreement with respect to how you see things and how we see things. So look,
Ain't no we. You with them. I hear you.
okay, well, you know what? If you're going to make a distinction based on not knowing anything about me and who I am and what I'm about, then
I
that's
know enough.
you know, if you're good, and again,
It's sad.
that's the
Sad. It's
problem.
really sad.
If I'm what you're doing is doing what you don't want people to do to you, and that is
You know what you're doing? You know what you're doing? You're doing
define
what
me.
used to happen on the plantation.
Well, you are. You're defining me based on knowing nothing about me, right? Aren't you defining me based on nothing, on no information about me at all?
I have enough information, brother. You up here on a panel, you are up here on a panel full of black folks doing what the slave master used to do and giving another black man the whip in order to whip his own people into shape. You were here to correct me on behalf of your white woman, and you don't see how that's problematic. My lord.
Yeah,
My
because
lord.
I actually don't see it as problematic because the problem is you're actually saying that you're 100% right in everything you say, and you're not being open to you're not opening your mind. You're sort of
I don't want to open my mind. I don't want.
you're actually myopic.
Listen.
You're
If
myopic
opening my
in your
mind mean opening
sir,
white bunny
sir,
legs, I'm
sir,
good.
you're
Oh,
myopic in your thinking. You know, you have defined, you have created definitions that you are comfortable with.
Created these
white people
definitions.
created these things.
Of course, without a doubt, Tallahassee race is a product of what white people created. Black people didn't create that. I absolutely agree with that. But
All right.
you cannot be
So then, if you know they created it, what did they create it for, brother?
control. Absolutely, total control.
Okay. All right. So if they created it with control, does it still?
Wait.
Wait, hold on, brother. Does race
If I
still,
realize that, how am I under control?
does it still
If
exist?
I realize that, how am I under control?
Does that system created to control still exist? Is it still in place today?
Oh, absolutely.
So then,
In our government,
I just said that.
My wife just said that.
I just said that.
In
Corporate America, I just said that.
In our financial district,
I just said that.
but for some reason, it's not in control in our marriage. For some reason, when it gets to love, that's the only area it don't control.
She's a unicorn. You didn't know? She's a unicorn. One of a kind.
Really special, actually.
One of a kind.
I'm truly special. You have no idea how special I am.
I think one of the things that is really is an unknown variable, and that is something that you don't take into account, is that love is an interesting emotion. And I think that you, well,
I think,
and I think with that variable, see, because you can't get around the fact that maybe,
Yes, I did say I was special.
you can't get around the
we believe you.
that maybe
Thank you.
that maybe there is love between us. We've been friends since we were 8 years old. Do you think that at eight, my wife knew that she was a racist? Do you think that being my friend and us playing?
Yes, I do believe she knew.
Okay.
I mean, she might not have known the word racist, but I believe she was
Then
racist.
I have nothing more. Then I have nothing more to say to you, sir. Have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Be blessed.
All right. I already am blessed. I'm blessed and melanated. Me and my black wife up here roasting people up, man. It's a good night.
Well, I guess it's time for me to go. I really wanted to have a crack at this.
Oh, I thought you would have came off mute. You want to give us a word? Wait, hold on. We got a scholar in the room, man. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna I was just really gonna ask him a couple of questions, and I wish they were still here because I would really want to answer these questions. And one of the questions I wanted to ask him is, does she speak or act effectively against racism?
She don't.
See, because just because you're married to someone black doesn't mean that you're acting effectively against.
Mm-hmm.
And so every white person who does not act effectively against is literally either directly or indirectly helping promote white supremacy. So the only time a white person is not effectively acting in white supremacy is when they're acting effectively against it.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you have to wake up using your privilege to help black people. Not just laying with them is not using your privilege. Just because you
Mm-hmm.
spread your legs with them is not using your privilege. See, you might do it for one, but are you doing it for all? And I'm not talking about laying with all. I'm talking about, are you using this privilege to literally deconstruct white supremacy on a day-to-day basis? Because the time you stop, you are now acting passively in racism.
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore, if you cannot say that she is anti-racist, then therefore she benefits from racism.
Mm-hmm.
All white people, hear me out, all white people benefit from being white. Does that make you a white supremacist? No. Because the only time you're not a white supremacist is when you're acting effectively against racism. So therefore, there are some people who act effectively against racism. So therefore, all white people aren't a racist, but all white people do benefit from racism. That's all I wanted to tell them.
I was gonna say the easiest way you could tell if a white person is racist is just asking them. And if they say no, they racist. Because in order for you to cure yourself of anything, you need to first acknowledge that you have it, right? If you are an alcoholic and you no longer want to be an alcoholic, the first step is to admit you are an alcoholic. Racism is like being an alcoholic. If you are no longer a racist, if you're not a racist, then when we ask you if you're racist, you need to say yes, and I work on it every day. I work to dismantle it every day. I actively do something to dismantle it every day. And so when they say no, that's a good. Go ahead, Crime.
You know what I wanted to ask him though, if he think that black people can be racist, that would be a good question to see the type of conversation he and his wife have.
Yeah,
Cause I guarantee you he's gonna say yes, black people can be racist.
absolutely. For all of those that love this conversation, wait, hold on, I'm gonna mute you, Crime. You gotta hang up there. For all those that love the conversation, these are two great accounts to follow right here. Black Cabinet Education going to teach you. He going to read to you. You know what I'm saying? He going to let you know the knowledge. And Brother Kron hosts a great Pan-African Garveyite space. Follow this brother right here. He's also part of our nonprofit organization, B1 Initiative. The link is in my bio. But this is a good Pan-African Garveyite brother, and this is another Pan-African educational resource for brothers and sisters. So follow them too. All right.
All right, good night, family. I'll see y'all
Yes,
later.
sir. Yes, sir. Ashe. All right. Next guest, Hot Dog. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hey, I'm 24, I'm black, and I use they, them.
All right. Talk to us.
Is it unethical? Yeah, it's unethical. As evident by my previous speaker, I really do think the white supremacy is like a mind virus. It doesn't let you see reality, you know? And like that guy and his wife, like you were just explaining stuff to them and they can't get past like their internalized supremacy, you know? And they just can't see what reality is. It was crazy to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My dad was white, but he wasn't ever in my life, and like every day I'm so thankful for that because like I don't have that like that virus in the back of my mind, you know. It's just crazy like talking to people who say they're biracial, you know what I mean? Those type of people, like they're just lost. It's so crazy to see. But I don't got nothing to say really. That was entertaining.
Well, appreciate you. Thanks for coming up.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm going to say this to biracial people that want to hear it. There are Pan-African leaders, scholars, doctors, psychologists, all type of knowledge that you can learn about who you are. And they will accept you. They will talk about how the community accepts you. That white tea community, you can't name one scholar that says biracial people are included in the definition of whiteness. You won't find it. But you can find the most blackest leaders like Khalid Abdul Muhammad who will still accept you as a biracial brother or sister. So just Some of y'all that think I'm too white for the black people, I'm too black for the white people. Nah. Even some of the most prolific, militant black leaders we've had will accept a biracial brother or sister that identifies full time. Now, we ain't talking about the ones that flip flop like Drake. You know what I'm saying? The ones like Drake that's black when it's convenient. We talking about when are you black when it's inconvenient? Are you black all the time? Those people are our brothers and sisters. All right, we're gonna go to the next guest. BJ13X, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Peace. I'm 42. I black. Him. He.
All right, talk to us.
Well, I've been listening. I've been listening to this for a while, but I initially wanted to say that no, it's not unethical. Because that I guess there seems to be some outliers from time to time. But at the same time, there also seems to be some type of inner working or mechanic always within those types of interracial relationships that you don't necessarily know about that exists of why they're in that situation that I've noticed like over time. Like my guy was saying, t-shirts. Oh, we grew up together. We were childhood friends, you know, but then there's like a regional proximity type of thing. You know, it's like, oh, okay, I grew up around all white people. I went to whatever school, et cetera, and et cetera, and et cetera. And no, whoever just said that, no, I'm 1,000% against dating white women, 1,000%. Uh, but um, but it just seems like there's always some reason that they went in that direction that's other than love. You know what I'm saying? Like it sounds good, but ultimately, you know, whether it was just like, oh, I was rejected a lot by my side, or oh, I just live really close. I went to college here, I went to high school there, et cetera, and et cetera, and et cetera. And there's always something behind the scenes of why they ended up in that situation other than just like boy meets girl. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So I'm gonna go ahead and say it probably is unethical. And I've met plenty of interracial women in my day, and with white moms, with white moms, and they always seem to have this really just strange temperament, you know, and even black people too. They have a really strange temperament, especially when you're mixed and you're trying to, I guess, fluctuate towards your black side, like you're kind of struggling between the two. There's
Mm-hmm.
always like this weird temperament, like this weird anger that comes along with that. You know, I mean, just to say crazy, you know, just for lack of a better term. Like I know one guy who has a white mom who's he obviously hates his white mom. You know, like there's no other way to say it in his actions. You know what I mean? He hasn't said it outright, but he hates his white mom. There's just so many different things that come about with the interracial situation that it just doesn't really seem natural. So I'm gonna go ahead and say yes, it is unethical.
Okay. So yeah, I can agree. With that, what you've spoken about is more on the products of the marriage. I I've made this prompt, and I think that's why it draws in so many people because it has so many different ways it can be looked at. But I was speaking towards the actual idea of interracial marriages existing in the first place. The entire idea of interracial marriage um, existing while black oppression exists simultaneously is to me the most obvious. Like, this can't be ethical. There's no way. Like, how can this be ethical if black people are still facing discrimination in the workplace, discrimination through redlining, discrimination with voting, and with the way districts are drawn, and the way that they're able to get mortgages and credit,
Yeah,
like job discrimination and lower wages and mass incarceration and police brutality and like, how can all this injustice still exist and we're talking about the same people that brought our ancestors here against their will telling us that they consent because we didn't decide that we wanted interracial marriages. They consented to make it legal, right? So there
Yeah.
was no march by black people to make it legal.
Yeah.
So, right, like we never got an opportunity to say, we with this, y'all. We agree. We want this. Like,
So it was basically like them saying, "Hey, you guys okay with doing this?" Like on that side, and they were like, "Yeah, let's
right.
do it.
And
Let's
we're
let them
gonna
do
make
it."
it, and we've made it hard for y'all to choose each other. Literally, it was
You're
illegal for
right.
black men and women to marry each other for most of America's history. And so then they say, we've created a system where we've disenfranchised y'all so much that it's hard for y'all to choose each other and not call it struggle love. And then the privileged class are going to look so much more appealing that when y'all even do get money, you still won't look at yourselves to love. You're going to go to us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
yeah, they
it's
have
like
us in
this.
a real
Yeah.
conundrum with the whole dating scene. I mean, I'm sure everyone knows the how hard the black and white man, or I'm sorry, the black women and black men are just going at each other. I mean, obviously not everybody, just day to day. That's just such a topic. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Black men this, black women this, every day, just like jammed down your throat, like every day with that type of rhetoric. And there is a
CIA?
reason for that.
I
Yeah,
swear
there
to
is a
God.
reason for that. Yeah, there's just no other reason. Like it's comical at this point that people
Mhm.
even still engage in that type of thing. But then on the other hand, it is the rise in, the divesting and like, oh, well, I got a white person now and it's like this, it's better over here. It's this, it's that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's a reason for that. It's not just because boy meets girl and we're in love now. It's a play for sure.
Mhm.
So,
Absolutely.
so yeah, I agree. And I honestly, like I said, when I first jumped on, I was on the fence because I'm kind of an optimist. You know what I'm saying? I would like to think in some far away, distant universe that something like that can exist ethically. But
Mhm.
ultimately, after sitting on here for long enough and listening to you, I mean, you have a great point, and I actually agree with you. When I just look at the things that I see in my own life, in my own personal life with my own friends, it
Mhm.
ain't, it ain't really, nah, it ain't right. You know, it
Mhm.
ain't right. And it's really not something, especially, I mean, I guess with the exception of you having a super activist like white person on your side. And I still don't necessarily think that that means you should get married.
I don't. Yeah,
You,
right. Because
you
we
can
got
be
work to do.
friends and partners. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can work
Yeah.
together, but
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
doesn't mean get married and have children.
Because who's the least married demographic in America?
I'm going to assume it's us.
It's black women. The least married demographic in America is black women. Do you know the number one predictor of poverty for black women? The number one predictor? Like it's not even like a statistic to where it's correlated, or a statistic to where it's like the more we have this, the more we have that. It's so closely correlated that it's a predictor. Is when a black woman has a child and no wedding ring. That is
Makes
the number
sense.
one predictor that she will be below the poverty line. So then you look at the state of our community and you start to understand that us not choosing each other has had a negative impact on our ability to survive.
Oh, I agree
And
totally. But what's funny is they do it. They go to the other side for survival. So it's really a mind game,
right, there you go.
because
And so
they're telling you that's what you need to do to survive or to get along better
and
from your
so
situation.
and so according to Dr. Juwanza Kunjufu, the author of the book Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys, when a child is born, I'm gonna just mute you a little bit, brother. You got a lot of noise. Hold on. So when a child is born in the black community, there's 105 black boys born for every 100 black girls. There's 105 black boys for every 100 black girls. That means at birth there are more boys than girls. However, by the time they reach the age 18, There are two single black women for every one single black man. What happens to all the boys? Well, there's a few factors. Some of it is mass incarceration. Some of it is, being unalived before the age of 25. Some of it has to do with some other things that I don't know if I could talk about on TikTok. But one of the big reasons is that 25% of black men, even today, that are in relationship or in marriages today, not 25% of all marriages, but 25% of men that have gotten married in the past decade have been black men. 25% of black men that have gotten married in the past decade have gotten married to a white woman. Black women need our brothers. They need us. And I just told you economically how it impacts black women for black men not to choose to be with a sister. It is easily one of the most pro-black things you can do. The easiest pro-black thing you can do is to love yourself first, brothers, but then to find that love of self in a sister. And then you can come together and create a strong family unit. And that is what white folks have always been afraid of. And that is the reason why it was illegal in this country for black men and black women to marry. It was never illegal for any other race to marry themselves. But it has been illegal for black men and black women to marry because they are afraid that once we love each other, we're going to protect each other too. And thank you, Brother BJ. I'm going to go to the next guest. I got a lot of people waiting, but thank you for coming up, family. Ashley Bueno, what's going on, sister?
Peace, peace, peace with everyone.
Peace, peace.
Thank you for all of the wonderful things that have been said so far. Post T-shirt, that was scary to witness. I always find it interesting. Oh, sorry, introduction. 32, black, she, her, they, them is fine.
What?
Yeah, I always find it interesting when I see the white spouse pop out of nowhere in the background, almost like they're just like listening in. And it's another sign of like why this is a problem, why this is unethical. Why is it that they're always there? They're always there. You're opening the door for more infiltration. You're allowing them to get more information on us, on our culture, on our essence, on our conversations, on our language. What more do they need from us? They've taken so much. Why do you continue to allow them to take more? They've taken your mind for sure. I mean, that's what you're here for, the infiltration. And they're using your body, just like the movie Get Out. They're using your body to infiltrate these spaces. And you're too dumb, you're too blind to not see that that's what you're being used for. A donkey. 1967 is when they legalized this shit. Loving versus Virginia. Please do not watch any of the BS propaganda documentaries on their story. Go read her book, The Perspective from the Black Woman. She was 11 years old when she met that man. He was 17. He persisted on going after her because she was one of the top wealthiest families in Virginia, top 20. His father worked for her father. So he knew by marrying into that family, he was going to be well off. When he passed away, he was 40 years old. He passed away when he was driving through a DR driver, drunk driver. I don't know if I can say that. She said in her book, her life began the moment he passed. The moment she passed. We've said this a million times, and I'll say it a million times today. They just want to sleep with us. They do not want to liberate us. They want to be able to tap into our culture, our essence, our music, our food, our language, our everything. Again, our essence, our spirit. But they don't want to be us, because they know that the system that they've set up for themselves will benefit them if they continue to look like them and to take from us. And y'all giving it to them every time you use the word love in replacement of self. Why aren't you loving self? Why aren't you loving the person who looks like you, like your mother or like your father? And I will say this as a person who is black biracial, I understand that the love that comes from black people is not going to be the same as white people. My father, it's interesting, quick little, just so understanding, my father is a white biracial, and his connection to his mother is a reason why we don't connect the same way. I'm gonna repeat that. He is a white biracial. His mother is white. His father is black, and his connection with his mother and his mother's family members is the reason why we do not connect on that level.
His father, wait, his mother, wait, hold on now.
He's
Yeah,
white
say that
White
again.
biracial.
Elaborate.
biracial.
I'm trying to.
Okay,
Yeah, hold on, hold
my
on.
father is
Yeah.
a white biracial. He's white.
All right,
He's
please
white.
explain how he's white if he's biracial.
No, so he's like what's his name? The rapper.
Logic.
He's like a
Oh,
Logic,
damn.
essentially.
So his father was biracial.
Yes.
So he's not a white biracial. He just,
White passing.
there you go. White
Yeah,
pass.
white presenting, I would say.
Nah, we white passing if he
White
identifies
passing.
white. He's white
Well, he
passing.
doesn't identify as white. He's Latino, so he identifies as
Latino too?
mulatto.
Damn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
very interesting.
identifying as Latino is an ethnicity. So
Right, I know.
so
We
if
listen.
he
I've gone
slides
down
in
that road.
if he slides into the white Latinos, then he's a white passing person because at the end of the day, whiteness means you can show everyone your mother and your father and no one question you or question your access to whiteness. So white passing means you have to hide a part of your identity, whether it be your hair like Meghan Markle, who has to straighten her hair in order to pass, or, hiding a parent, or, there are other things to blackness than just what we look like. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people miss out on is phenotype is not the only thing that makes me black.
Right.
There's my connection to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
There's the history I have with other black people. For example, your white, I'm sorry, your white passing father's, wait, was it your father that was white passing?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, your white passing father's father didn't have the generational wealth and access to certain resources that white people have. He don't got that privilege.
Right.
So it's like there's more to it than like the history shared with black people, and then of course there's the culture, and that's where it plays the biggest part. If he is a black person participating in black culture and stands 10 toes in it, then we can't question him. There's been many white presenting uh black people throughout history, some of which were some pretty inspirational figures, but you know,
Mm.
white biracial is not a term white supremacy deems as white. Like that's like two different opposite things. Whiteness implies purity. Whiteness implies privilege. Whiteness means I don't think about race all day. I don't think about my mom's race. I don't think about yeah, I'm just not thinking at all. I walk out the house without my wallet and drive around without my insurance and I don't really care.
Mm.
But
That's interesting because, like, at least with my father, I mean, there's so many layers because, again, the Latino thing as well. He's never fully. He's always claimed to be Havao. Havao would be a quarter black, like the blood quantum, which is
yeah,
I already explained to him how it's a problem.
yeah,
Because of the indoctrination and again him understanding or perceiving race through the lens of the country he came from.
this is how you know if you black, real quick. Because
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna shorten it for you. So this is 3 questions you can ask anyone to find out if they're black, and this is based on Marcus Garvey, Garveyites. All right. So the first 2 questions, you have to say yes to one of them. You say yes to one, you can move on to 3. First question is, do you have African ancestry or an African parent or grandparent? Like, do you have African ancestry? Do you have roots in African ancestry in your bloodline? If the answer is yes, then you can go on to question 3. If the answer is no, it's okay. Second question is, do you have visible melanin? Do you have the African phenotype? If the answer is yes, you can move on to question 3. If the answer is no for both question 1 and 2, you may not move on to 3. You are not black. Go somewhere else. You can go dance with Drake. We at the cookout. So, number 3, in order for you to have your cookout invitation, you have to answer, do you identify full-time as black or African? So, full-time means when it's inconvenient, when it's convenient, when you pulled over, when you by yourself. Are you mentally, in your mind, a participant in black culture? Right. So, if if you say no, then you can be whatever you want to be. You can tell us you white, biracial. You can tell us whatever you want to be.
You're so right. I guess I never thought of seeing it as he's passing, and I guess I've always like had a trouble identifying it because I don't think he is even completely aware of it. I think he has an inclination, but I think because he still sees his father and he's very much in his life that he doesn't. I think part of him still. I don't
So
know how to describe it.
I would say we're not going to drag him to the cookout. Like
Nah, nah, nah,
when they
nah.
when they by
I wouldn't
internal,
either.
yeah, like when they've internalized that
I'll
much.
bring him leftovers and have a
You
conversation.
know what I'm saying? When they,
He could cook. He could cook, but no, 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 no. You're
yeah,
right.
you
You're
cook
right.
it. I mean, when they've internalized it that much,
Yeah,
that's question number 3. You know, because there's people
yeah.
with the phenotype, with the ancestry, but when they get to number 3, I'm no black. I'm Dominican. I'm biracial. I'm,
Mm-hmm,
all this other.
mm-hmm,
I'm a
mm-hmm.
Hebrew Israelite.
And
Those
it's
people,
sad.
we
And
just let them go.
I know there's a lot of guests I want to go. What I say, it's sad because I know that deep down inside he wants to choose black, and he's choosing not to because he knows it's harder to be black. He knows
Exactly.
Hebrew Israelites don't go in that category though, brother.
Nah, they do. They do sometimes. They do. I know a
Tripping,
few
they
people.
lost, but
Israelites.
they not.
Stop.
They
Most of
quick.
them
We
are
are
not.
not African. We're Negroes. They say it all the time. They say no.
They do.
They say we're not African. We're Israelites. They say it. They say we're not
Mm.
Negroes.
I didn't know.
But not all of them. Not all of them. No. Not all of them. I just found this out because the ones I knew growing up, we Hebrew, but not all of them.
But yeah, I guess I'm gonna mute up. But that is another example of why interracial
It confusing.
relationships are detrimental because it creates identity issues.
Yeah.
It creates confusion within our community, and more importantly, it prevents us from fully being able to proudly be black. But it's not gonna stop me. It's not gonna stop me.
I heard that. And big up to all the brothers and sisters, man, that exist on the spectrum between chalk and charcoal. We got it all, baby. We got absolutely. All right. We're gonna go to the next guest. Thank you, Sister Ashley. Life is a beach. Give us your age, race, and pronouns. Talk to us, sister.
Hey, brother legend. I had to come up here. So age 54, race black, pronouns she, her. I had to come up here and tell Mrs. Legend she gave him that fire, baby.
She did. She did.
I
She
had to come up
did.
here. Good going, Mrs. Legend. But anyway, what I really came up here was I just couldn't help myself to come up here because she's all in the background, speaking out of turn, just doing too much. But one thing I did want to say is, and on your show, on your live, she all in the background, but you're claiming that you're not racist, and you have sympathy and empathy. No, you don't, because number one, first of all, you're trying to they're trying to undermine what you're doing, what they know is true. So number one, we don't care about your unicorn relationship. Another thing about that is those types of relationships, what they do is they lie. They also want to try to sustain and avoid discussions of race or racial inequality and act like it's not really a thing when it is, you know? And so to come up here and try to undermine you, that's not helping. So then how do you call yourself not racist if that's your goal, to come over here to your live telling lies and alibis? No, we're not doing that today. Another thing, they want to highlight their relationship, right? You know, instead of highlighting what's important, you know, that we need, you know, the inequality and the things that Black people are going through. And then guess what? Just their behavior and how they act and the lies that they're telling, they have children. They said they have children. That's the same malarkey that they told their children. And now their children are going out there saying that foolishness just like their parents.
I
So do
heard
you
that.
understand? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing that I don't like about these defectors that go marry these women, they want to try to attack us because of their decision. Don't come attacking us because of your decision and trying to make your wife feel good. No, we don't have nothing to do with that. Leave us alone. You
I
know,
heard
you
that.
come over here like you trying to get us together for her. No, you're not gonna get us together for her. No, to make her feel good. Because see, if she was a real woman, she would not even say one doggone word. She
Right.
was really about, if she was really about that non-racist, pro-Black life, she would say, you know what? I'm gonna just sit back in the cut. I ain't gonna say nothing because this is not for me to be talking on. Am I right or wrong?
I heard that. I heard that.
All right, look,
Right
I'm gonna go
on.
back down in the bottom now. I just
All
had to
right.
come up.
All right. Appreciate you, Queen. Thank you. Man, she be spitting. Shout out to Life is a Beach, man. All right, we're gonna go to the next guest. We're gonna keep it rolling. Y'all gotta tap like, man. We gotta get to 50K. We gotta at least get to 50K, y'all. Tap like, tap like. I'll bring the comments back when we get to 50K. We almost there. We at 39.4. Y'all could do it. I have faith in you. If you have a nose that's thicker than a Snicker, if you can see your lips when your mouth is closed, then I need you to share share a live with a brother or sister. You know what I'm saying? Don't share it with no others. You know what I'm saying? Sisters, brothers, don't share it with no others. We need to get on the right algorithm. I need y'all tapping like. I need y'all getting some melanin in this chat. You know, we're having an important conversation. So I think it's something that many people find beneficial. We here to raise your consciousness. I'm gonna go to the next guest. Nikki Nicole, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Hello, I'm 36 and white and she, hers. Perfect.
All right, talk to us.
Well, I'm going to actually pose a question, I think, but I'm going to say a couple of things to give some perspective first.
I'll tell you real quick. This is an interview. I don't answer questions. But
Sure, okay.
I do want to hear your point of
Yeah.
view.
Well, basically, I'm curious, I guess. Okay, I'm just putting the question out there. Don't answer it. I have been married to my husband, who is Black, for 11 years. He and I have been together for 15 years. We have 2 children. And I don't think I have any kind of business answering the question of are interracial marriages ethical. I think it's obvious that they aren't. But I have been working, I am an educator. I work in K-12 public schools. I am the lead for diversity, equity, and inclusion education, and I'm working on a PhD in race studies. And I sit on a board of a nonprofit in my local community that supports anti-racist activism in educational settings. I have spent many years trying to, I don't know if like use or guide my unearned, but obviously very much their white privilege toward whatever I can do in my own community to encourage more anti-racism and activism from white people. I agree that white supremacy completely exists, and I'm curious. I mean, this is a very interesting conversation for me to be listening to. I wish my husband was here. He's at work, because I just am really thinking about our children who are biracial. I'm white, he's Black. They are not and could not be even if they tried white passing or white presenting. So we teach them their true history. We teach them the true history of America, of how Black people were brought to America and enslaved. We talked to them about how my husband and I ended up together. Most of our extended family on his side, Black people married to Black people. On my side, white people married to white people. So it's definitely notable to our kids to recognize that they're different. I just am really thinking through this conversation about what I don't want. I don't know. I'm so curious about what to do as they continue to get older. They're only 7 now. Because we are, at least I am in love. I'm not going to speak for him, although I think he is. And I don't know. I don't know what is breaking up a family that is functioning well is a good idea, or is it unethical to continue the marriage that's been going on? Anyway, I don't have an answer for that question. I'm just very interested in this conversation.
Okay. Well, I would answer that, but I think my question in return might lead you down a path of self-reflection that
Yeah,
could.
no, that's, I guess, what I'm here for.
Okay, so do you recall the Save the Whales movement in the 70s?
I
You
do
heard
know
of
what
it?
you're talking about. I'm not particularly familiar.
Save the Whales. They were back in the day. They would go whaling in unalive whales
Sure.
to make oil for
Right.
lamps and stuff like that, and it was hurting the environment. Whales were becoming extinct. Then you had Save the Trees, the
Yes, yeah.
ozone layer and stuff like that. Then you also had like Save the Dolphins. Do you recall ever a time where the people that led these initiatives had to ask a dolphin, a tree, or a whale how not to be harmful?
No, I guess, I totally understand what you're saying
How
in
many
that it's not.
how many black people work at this nonprofit you work at?
I'm actually one of two. I'm the only white person, and then we have one person that identifies as 100% Asian. The rest, there's 6 other people. They're all Black.
I see. So it's a mostly black group, correct?
Yes. And I do know, we teach a lot in the services that I work through in the school district about not asking marginalized communities to explain to performative action on why they're marginalized.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even in the nonprofit you work in, the trees are trying to save the trees, and the whales are trying to save the whales more than the people that do the harm in the first place are trying to fix their problem.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for coming up. All right, we're gonna go to the next guest. Precious timing. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
35, black, bliggity, bliggity, black, and boss man and unk.
Right. That's a good one. Good talk to us, brother.
You know, hey man, that two can play that game, brother. But no, so I think just
Oh, you got a call or something.
Unc got a call.
All right, talk to us.
hold on, damn, I don't know. I'm new to this shit. Hold on now. All right, there we go.
I got another one.
What the?
It better not be a bunny.
Hold on. That was funny. Nah, it ain't no. I just put it on Do Not Disturb. I don't know what the hell going on. Nah, ain't no bunnies over here. I'm from Atlanta, and I keep that thing. It's
All
enough
right,
here.
now.
I do feel sorry for my people who aren't in areas where you have enough black people to have your options to dibble and dabble, etc. But we are blessed and highly favored. So
We blessed and highly flavored. We use the seasonings.
you know what I'm talking about. Good season.
Mm-hmm. Hey, they gonna keep blowing you up,
Don't even see.
Yeah, it could be an emergency. Something going on,
His FBI agent putting in work right now.
Putting in work. You sound like
What?
Go
Man,
Who
ahead.
got disturbed?
somebody. All right.
Oh my god.
And again, y'all
Yeah,
can't hear me.
yeah,
Yeah.
we hear you now.
Oh my god. What's
Nah,
happening? Every
Y'all know
time
how
you
this
leave, if
is
every
the
time you swipe out
microphone.
of the app, we don't hear you. Just so you know.
Okay. Okay. So the definition of ethical
oh, he trying to. You
is
can't read the
relating to
definition. Okay.
principles. Yeah, I can't. Now I see. I think I was doing it because I was trying to go back and forth.
Yeah.
So relating to moral principles is all I got out of it. I couldn't read the rest. So
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, if you know the history of what has been done to our people, then and you can still like consciously date one of these people and not feel some type of way, then you don't have those said morals and principles. You don't have any. You don't stand on any business. So no, it's not ethical in that sense to me at all. Because
Mm-hmm.
how can you logically read they were her property and then read about Leopold and what he's done, then read about them feeding babies and out to alligators and tying the horses, and I don't want to get into all the other atrocities they committed to us, not only in the United States but all over the world. And you can consciously just be with one of them and wake up and look at one. Then, if you want to take it a step further, even when we are talking about the us having hair and that what they have not even looking or resembling to that, and actually hanging down like a Labrador retriever. I mean, how can we? This is not. I really don't know. And I try to, I tread lightly because I do believe in allies. Because it is some good ones. I believe that young lady who just spoke is one. But when I read white fragility and I hear that even the air quote good ones are scared to come out against their own people because they know how evil they are, and this is out of a white person's mouth. So check that book out. Then I'm like, well, how can I trust you? Because that means you're not a good one. And it makes me think of the Muhammad Ali snakes analogy. It's the same thing in white fragility. And I mean, I can't allow people to continue to do it. And to that lady you said who be coming up here cooking, the young lady a few ladies ago, life is, I think, when she said the ones who are doing it try to bash the ones who don't to justify and make themselves feel better as if we the crazy ones. And that's a type of gaslighting on a whole nother level. And it'll never be okay. So, I mean, we gotta push back, y'all, on that type of stuff because they'll have you thinking you tripping on judging them.
Right.
When really in reality, they the one tripping for not only stepping out, but stepping out and pushing back on their own people and saying, this is why I stepped out. Because y'all is this and y'all is that. And that's just when it gets weird. And I know we all seen the Umar thing going around, and Columbus Short was speaking on, and I'm just like, Columbus, you literally are missing the point. And everyone wants to talk about where we are as a people, but no one wants to talk about how we got here. And that's the people that they are fucking dating.
That's
You
why.
are sleeping with the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna land there, brother, because I mean I could say more, but I'm rambling. So
Hey,
thank you.
sound like you know what you're talking about, brother. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we got one more guest, y'all, for the night. Don't forget, be1initiative.org. The link is in my bio. I'm not one of these TikTokers. I don't come up here and use Pan-African scholars' knowledge and teachings to make content and then go and sleep next to a powdered donut every night, okay? I'm not one of those. I'm organized. I'm organized with my brothers and sisters, over 900 Pan-Africans worldwide. If you want to join us in what we are building, join b1initiative.org. The link is in my bio. Join our Discord. We have meetings every Sunday. We are building Sankofapedia, an Afrocentric online resource, a one-stop shop for everything Afrocentric. If you want to learn your own people's history from the perspective of your people, then come and join us. B1initiative.org. The link is in my bio. And you'll find some other lives on here that are also part of B1 Initiative. We together we organizing, y'all. Pan Africanism is organizing. Pan Africanism is not just believing black people should be free. Pan Africanism is doing something about it. All right, absolutely. The next guest, Jaded, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
I'm 19. I go by she, her, and
Your
age,
race?
race, and pronouns. Oh, I'm black.
All right, talk to us.
I don't know. I feel like I just stopped dating in general because in the black community, like white tea supremacy is so deeply rooted in our community as a whole, especially like if you're in America, that I honestly like, but when it comes to like ideologies, I can't tell who's thinking white and who's not at this point.
Why
Because
can't you?
why am I getting like
Why can't you
the
tell?
same hate from, because like the way that I hear the community spread all this hate and stuff, it literally sounds like a white tea supremacist to me.
Okay, well, why can't you tell if someone believes that or thinks that way or not? I can tell. I can tell right away.
I can't tell until I talk to them and get to know them. You know, I don't judge people just based off face value. I want to actually have a conversation to you and dive
You
into
don't
your
have to have a
intellect.
long conversation. You can have a very simple conversation and be able to tell if you know what to look for. And that's the thing. A lot of us don't know what to look for. I would encourage you to maybe pick up some of the books from our scholars, and maybe it can help you on your journey. Yeah, I know it helped me. If I didn't know what to look for, I wouldn't have found my wife.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's the community as a whole. Like, there's some people who just are, especially like the older generation. They're so locked into that mindset, and they've been indoctrinated to like believe these ideals that like
Are you
aren't even
dating?
theirs.
Are you dating in the older generation at 19?
No, I'm just talking about the black community as a whole. But like when
Jaded,
I,
I think.
because you have to keep in mind, like, right, they're being raised by the older generation, and they're pressing on those same ideologies to their children, right? Because even like, because I was dating this like my ex, and all the stuff that he was saying, I was like, why are you thinking like somebody from literally 1950s? Like he literally
Was he
like,
black?
yes, because
Okay.
I'm bi, right, and like every time I mention like anything about like Pride Month or anything, like we're like, or because like we had like a gay guy there, and anytime that like he ran into him or anything, like he would literally just scream the F slur, like just say all this like hateful stuff, and I'm like, why are you thinking like you're in the 1950s? Like this is ridiculous. And especially like you're a black man, right? You should know how that feels to be oppressed. So why are you expressing the same like
Wait.
oppression?
Whoa. Hold
This is
on.
what Gen
Yeah.
Z does. This is why I'm scared of
Yeah,
y'all. I
nah.
love y'all, but
You
I'm
lost
scared of
us. You
y'all.
had us. You had us until you compared blackness to that.
Right.
Don't
Because
do
there's
that.
black gay people.
Yeah, I'm black and gay.
Right. But you're othering yourself as if there isn't the intersection of both.
Wait,
And you're also
how am I
comparing,
othering myself? Wait,
because
what?
you're to compare that a marginalized group with another marginalized group is extremely inflammatory and problematic.
Wait, when did I compare them?
You just did. You said you should know. You told your ex-boyfriend Why do you say the F slur when you should know that they also, just like us, are oppressed?
No, I'm not saying just like us. I'm just saying like
Oh, no.
Then who are you
like
comparing
the
it to?
feeling of like being oppressed. Like how could you like express that in
They're
any
not
form? It
oppressed
doesn't matter.
the way that we are oppressed, and they actually get to live in privilege in certain areas. Even in the black community, there are certain not privileges but concessions in that intersection, as there is with manhood, womanhood, and different intersectional experiences of black people. Of course, we're all prisoners of war, but to say that a white gay man experiences any level of
Yeah,
oppression similar to a black man is
be so fucking for real.
backwards.
Wait, what white man?
You're seeing, okay, you're the way that you're viewing the LGBTQIA plus as a whole, you're including white people in that oppression. So to compare the oppression, quote unquote, of what queer people go through to what black people, and this is coming from somebody who's I'm pan, not only pan African, but I'm pansexual.
And
You
free.
are,
I can get on this as well.
yeah, but that's what you're doing. You're including them, and you are never going to equate what gay white men go through to with black, like to even equate it is disrespectful.
No,
I know
I'm not
that's just one of
equating
those
it. I'm
things.
just saying like spreading hate in general. Like that's wrong,
But
and
that's the
especially
thing.
like
Even
when you're being hate
Jada,
crime. Like why are you
Jada,
spreading hate?
subconsciously, that's what you did. I don't think you're aware of that. That's what you subconsciously just did.
Like I'm pretty sure that like it's obvious that like I'm going to
Can you
have way more
define for
privilege than
me?
like a white
Can you
gay
define?
woman.
Can you define for me what makes someone gay?
Their sexual preference.
So, who someone chooses to have sex with makes them gay?
When I say sexual preference, I mean like whoever like you want to date. I guess is it gender preference? Is that the correct term?
Gender is a social construct.
Yeah, whatever they identify, like whoever you want to date and what they identify as. And if it's not I guess the opposite sex or whatever, then you're not straight.
Okay. So, if the other person has a gender preference in college for someone in the same gender, but then they find out that they prefer people of the opposite gender, and for the rest of their life remain, um, you know, with people of the opposite gender, have children with people of the opposite gender, and never look back to those college years and return back to their ways. Would you say that this person is still gay?
I mean, it sounds like they're confused. I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of straight people who say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna sleep with a girl for fun." I mean, I don't. I mean, I guess they could be gay if they wanted, if they decided to identify as that. But
Wait, you think that that's an identity?
no, I said if they decided because they want to have sex with girls that they want to identify as gay, then I guess they could do that. I mean, like
So
I
just because
feel
you're in a
like it.
heterosexual, that
I
makes
feel
no
like
sense.
the LGBTQ, like you're identifying yourself based on your sexual preferences.
How is that something?
Cause just like
Um,
I'm bi, like I like girls and I like boys.
But that's not my
who
identity.
created the idea to identify themselves based on their sexual preferences?
White people.
I mean, the same people who made race and made that a classification.
White. You
It
can
didn't
say white
exist.
people.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just wanted to ask that question. All right. Well, best of luck with, dating. I know you're 19. I think it's a little early to give in, but, to each his own. I wish you the best. And remember not to be so harsh on black people that have been through 400 years of taught self hatred. Sometimes they project it onto other people. We know it's not healthy, but there are also black people that have chosen to love themselves despite that inherent bias towards self destruction and self hatred. And understand that whenever you do run into someone with the self hatred that they perpetuate onto you, that it is not because of you and it's not because of the community. It is because their own self hatred that they've internalized. And that's something that as individuals we can be responsible for without perpetuating that negative aspect on black people as a whole.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Smart sister, what's going on? I gotta go to bed. You came up late. You came up mad late.
What you say?
I said you came up late. I gotta go to bed.
Oh yeah, so I was like, oh man, I said it's 8 something o'clock. I was surprised you was still on.
Yeah, dang, it's 10 o'clock. Yeah, I gotta go, y'all. All right.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, did you want to say something though?
Oh no, I was just checking you out, supporting. That's all.
All right.
I'll let you know I've been working hard on some stuff. So yeah,
Okay,
I'll
yeah,
just
I'll
talk to
give
you
you a
later.
call tomorrow.
Okay, hun.
All right, love
Take
you.
care.
All right. All right, so yeah, man, today was a good live. Appreciate Sister Ashley and Sister Stella, Alicia. Everybody's been in the comments thankful. So yeah, I find it interesting. I said this last night. Every time a white person comes on this live, and I got this question up, every one of them has come up and said it was ethical. Every single time. I have yet to see a white person come up here and say it is unethical. And I think the interesting thing that we learned today was how many of them feel that the answer would be, or what we're trying to imply, is that they break up with their black spouse, or that we're saying that interracial marriage is something that should be illegal. Did you guys notice that? Did y'all notice how they think that the answer to making this ethical is to not have the marriage at all? You know what the answer is? And you know what's wild? Just how much they refuse to self-reflect. None of them want to make this ethical instead. None of them had decided, you know what? He's saying black oppression makes interracial marriages unethical. Should I break up with black people? Instead, what if one day they could think, how about we stop black oppression? Then it's ethical. Maybe if we just stop racism, white supremacy, and black oppression, then we can turn to black people and be in interracial marriages. But instead, their brain don't even go there. Not one white person's brain has gone there. They always go to, oh, we shouldn't be with black people no more. Oh, you asking me to split up my family? Like they don't even get to the reason it's unethical is because we're saying there's black oppression. So why not even just stay in your community and dismantle the system that oppresses black people? Then we won't have an argument about whether it's ethical or not. It would be over. So they don't even think like that. Yo, it's so telling. Like white people, y'all, I don't know, man. It's just so obvious with y'all. That's wild, man. But hey, appreciate y'all. Black laws for black liberation for all black people. Free Haiti, free Congo, free Libya, free South Africa, free Brazil, free the brothers and sisters in America, free the brothers and sisters in Europe, free the brothers and sisters in Canada. My name is Brother Legend. I'm here to raise your consciousness. I'm out. I'm going to talk to y'all tomorrow. Black Power.